Hello, everyone. I'm here with my friend Arati, who is joining us from Ananda village, where she lives with her husband, Dion. We spoke with Dion earlier, so this is the other half of that duet. Hello, Arati. So happy to have you with us. So, Arati, I know that America is not your home country, that you started in Europe. Give me an idea of what was your childhood like? What were you like as a child? Were you thoughtful? Were you happy? How did you come to grow up? And eventually we'll talk about how you found Master, but who were you before?
So, good question. Thank you. I'm originally from Spain, actually from the same city than Narayani, Elche. I can say that I grew up in a regular family. The country itself, it has a lot of influence of Catholicism. And I took my first communion and I went to church like for 1 year or two, so I will be graduated. But my family never has been very religious, or just was there. So I remember two things, like thinking about this interview about growing up. One is that very early, the feeling or the thought that, what am I doing here? You're mistaken. I don't know to who I was talking to, but this is something wrong. I shouldn't be here. I had that feeling for a long time growing up. So I had friends.
Were you unhappy, or did you just feel out of place?
Out of place. Yeah. Yes. I think I've never been unhappy. Like I didn't have a rough situation or family or friendship. It was just fine outwardly, but inwardly it was something wrong. Like I shouldn't be here. Why I'm here? You have mistaken. So that was a memory that I had for a long time growing up. And the other thing also, I remember one day I've been given this little baby Jesus, like super tiny, but I put it in my bedroom, my table, and I would speak to him frequently. I knew he was baby Jesus, but I didn't know what it meant. But he was like my friend. And I remember when talking to him, I would see a star, not a spiritual eye, but like a yellow star, white, mostly yellow. And I would talk with baby Jesus and that star. So they were my best friends.
Really? How very interesting. How old were you at that time? Do you remember?
So I must be like maybe like 6, 7.
6 or 7. So when you took Holy Communion, you take it about that age, don't you? 6, 7, 8?
Yeah, at 8, yes.
Did you feel that the Holy Communion brought you closer to Jesus and the star?
Not at all. I did it because I will receive a lot of presents and because I will dress as a princess.
I see.
Oh, what a beautiful dress. That was all what it meant. Yeah, I had no, it actually didn't make sense. We would go to this underground place underneath the church. It was kind of scary. I would run it was like very, didn't have that much light, no windows. It was underground. It was a little bit of scary. So every week we would go there to study about, I don't remember what actually. But it was when meeting masters and the teaching that I really connected with Christ. I mean, I understood better what Christ meant.
So now when you went through school, were you a good student? Did you like school? Did you like to study, or were you restless and unhappy there? What part of it?
Yeah, I think I was a good girl. I think I studied and it was easy for me to understand things, especially science. I think my brain and my mind is very science oriented. So like physics and math, and it was very easy. I could see things. So that was very easy. I think I was a good student. I like it.
Did it change when you went to high school, or did you remain cooperative? Were you rebellious at all, or did it all just flow for you at that time?
Oh, yeah, I think high school was like the tipping point. So, yes, I think because I don't like confrontation, I've been a good girl pretty much all my life. But maybe in high school, I started learning that, I mean, I think maybe standing in my two own feet. So, and also I'll start like maybe because friendships, I will start doing things not that healthy, not that good. So experiencing other things and going more into parties and a little bit more rebellious.
What happened to the star and the baby Jesus at that point?
Good. So I guess they went into a behind the scenes, behind curtain. Uh, I think, I guess I will start experiencing life, and I never had again that relationship with the star until some years ago. Trying to remember things from my childhood. I remember that star, but for sure Jesus Christ came back and much stronger. And now he was grown up.
And now he was grown up. Very good. Did you feel in high school that this world was more your place, or did that same feeling persist?
I think I get used to it, but there were so many things that didn't make sense. Like I remember a lot, like seeing, for example, couples that they would be together, either like relatives or friends or people older than me, that they were married, but they didn't look happy. And I would see them arguing or unhappy. So it didn't make sense. And I didn't have boyfriend for the longest time, and my friends, they started having boyfriends, and they would say, "You will die as a man," and I would thought, better that than end up with a bad couple, with a bad partner.
Yeah.
So I think I didn't fit. Like I had a different perspective, and that was a little bit uncomfortable. Because I mean, I will have a lot of friends, but they will be very superficial, just in some areas, friendships in some areas.
Right. So you were then, did you go on to study at university? Did you finish your education? Yeah.
So I almost finished engineering. I've been trained as industrial engineer. I wanted to be astronaut.
You're going to be an industrial engineer. Okay, go ahead.
So because I was so attracted by the stars and the galaxies, I wanted to be an astronaut. So, oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I was picturing myself already just getting dressed and getting ready to go out there. But then to be practical, I needed to study something to achieve that. So for things that happen, I end up studying industrial engineering. And that could be something also very nice, because I could see that that could be something with which I could change the world. That was another thing that I wanted to do. I want to change the world because it didn't make sense. It was like a crazy world. So if we can create things that could be environmental friendly, we could produce things in a conscious way, I think we could be much better, and we could be much in harmony with the planet. But at some point, I understood that the whole system is just set up in a way that I don't think I can do that much going that road.
And also, so through all this part, you still don't know anything about the spiritual path. The spiritual path is not yet in your life, or when did it come in?
So I started practicing yoga when, I was like around 20, 21. So at that time I was in the university. I was studying engineering, but also practicing yoga. And because yoga, my whole life was changing. big time. I stopped doing like partying, doing drugs, doing, like bad friendships. But I started to feel this awakening, and something finally started making sense. So I will go to class, but also I will be practicing yoga.
So when you were practicing yoga, were you just doing the yoga postures, or were you just the yoga postures was creating that much of a change in your life?
Yes.
How did you think about it? What were you experiencing that made everything so different?
So it was like little things. For example, I remember walking on the street and seeing a flower growing up in the middle of concrete, and I will start crying. Like, wow, I don't know, like seeing the beauty in nature and the strength in nature just like flowing even in the midst of nowhere. Or also, I had a habit of like having my coffee, my café con leche and a little bit of toast every morning. That was a habit. And at some point, I felt inside, hey, let's change that and, and eat fruit. So every morning I would buy fruit, like a big bag of fruit, and that would be my breakfast. So I will go to practice my yoga, buy my fruit, and go to the university in nature and eating that healthy food. So yeah, things started changing.
And it started just coming from inside of you. It wasn't an idea. It was just the way you felt.
No, it was something from inside.
Oh,
And I remember also my teacher will finish the class like reading something, and I would be more interested. So I will ask so many questions. He would say, "Okay, let's save something for next week."
I understand. So now you're at your university, you're doing yoga, and you began to realize you couldn't change the world as an engineer. So where are we now? Okay.
So my teacher left the city, so I needed to find another place to practice yoga because that was what I knew at that time. So I found this place, and when I called like, "Hey, where are you?" and what time do you offer your yoga classes? I felt that voice had something special. So I knew that would be the place where I will go. So first time when I go to this super simple place, it was just like a bare room with a few pictures on the wall, like 6 pictures. And as soon as I saw those pictures, I knew that I belonged there. And all these men were so familiar. I only recognized one, Jesus Christ, but the rest of them, they felt like my father, my grandfather, all were relatives. I had no idea who were them. And I asked my teacher, who are those? Who are these? And he said, well, if you want to know more, read this book. And it was Autobiography of a Yogi. So he had an altar there, and it was an instant connection. I didn't know why, but I felt that I belonged there.
Right. So did you read autobiography then because he gave it to you?
It took me a little bit. It took me some months. And actually, when I started reading the book, I felt like my whole life changed, like drastically, like 180 degrees. And I was so afraid that I closed the book, put it back on the shelf, and I couldn't keep reading.
I understand. Yeah.
But then my life again went back into a miserable feeling. Like I felt so like life didn't make sense. Not at all. So I knew that it was only one path, one way, and it was through that book. So I took it again, and yeah, that was the beginning of the next stage of life.
So you graduated. Did you ever work as an engineer? Did you ever you never finished?
So it happened that and okay, when I was about to finish, my mom got sick. She got very sick, and part of the time I will be in class, part of the time I will be taking care of her, and part of the time I will be working in the family business, helping my dad. So that was a very intense time. And when, I spent 1 year abroad studying in Germany. That's a whole story. If you want, I can tell you more about that. But jumping on time into the future, it happened that I was feeling divided. Either continue with my studies or embracing the spiritual life. It was a moment that they weren't together anymore. Ideally, you will have, like, ideally both will be together, but not for me. So I felt inside that I should embrace one, and I wasn't sure, and a lot of fear. So at that time, I knew Swami Ananda, and I had a little meeting with him. And
where did you meet Swami? In Spain, or where did you meet him?
So I did a pilgrimage with a group of European people here to the States, visiting master's places. It will be like 3 weeks visiting Mount Washington, Encinitas, different places, but also Ananda communities. So for the first time, I met Ananda Palo Alto, Ananda Sacramento, and Ananda Village. Being in the village was the first time that I saw Swami Kriyananda. And I had a little contact with him.
Did he make an impression on you? Did you see him as something different, or did it just go by that first time?
So I was feeling Ananda and what this work meant. Like, I was amazed how a place like this will exist in the world, because knowing how the world was like, this is amazing. So it happened that it was 4th of July, and some of us from the pilgrimage, we were sharing some thoughts. And I remember Swami being seated in front of us. And when I connected with him, it wasn't him, it was like an ocean. It was formless. And then, like, everything made sense just in a moment. Like, Ananda means the second coming of Christ. All these people embracing the spirit, embracing a higher consciousness, and that man made it possible. So I didn't know details about his personality, or I knew he was a direct disciple of Yogananda, but that made sense. Like, wow, that man is something. Like, if he could manifest not the place, but also the consciousness of all these people smiling all the time, I want this.
You mentioned Christ again. You said that Jesus came back as a grown-up. Did he come back as a grown-up as soon as you connected with Yogananda? Did that happen right away, or did it take more time?
I think it took more time. When I was reading autobiography, it's interesting because even if my mind is science-oriented, and many times I need proof to, things to make sense, reading autobiography with all those miracles is like, absolutely, that's right. I mean, of course, there is no other way. So even if, again, the mind, I don't know the mind, but it feels so real, it feels so truth. I mean, yes. So I started connected with Yogananda, and maybe because some samskar, it connected also with that Indian part inside of me. So at the beginning, Christ, was there, but not in front scene. I think it was later, years later, just going deeper in prayer, going deeper in Kriya Yoga and meditation, and especially understanding the meaning of Christmas and Easter.
Did you experience that with Ananda, or did you just come into it on your own? You experienced Christmas and Easter with Ananda?
Well, I experienced before. Every year we will have a big Christmas and Easter festivities there in Spain. It's huge.
Uh-huh.
But as I guess everywhere, it has become more materialistic, more into get together and eat, get together and argue, or buy toys for the children.
Uh-huh.
So again, it was nice because we will connect all the family, all the relatives, big dinners.
Yeah.
But it wasn't the presence of Christ there. But it was with Ananda. When I saw more the spiritual part of those festivities.
Did you feel Christ anything like you knew him as a child, or was it something completely new?
It was the same in the sense that he is a friend.
Uh,
So maybe when I was younger, I related better with the baby Jesus.
uh-huh.
When I was young, I wanted to have like 5 kids at least, not anymore. So I guess I related more with the little form of Christ.
Uh-huh.
But growing up, like for example, when he came back to preach and to awaken other souls, and that was the new form. So when chanting to Christ is, even now, it's more like this friend that I can relate more, my maybe like closer to my age.
Because so I know that you live at Ananda village now. When did you come to live at the village?
So after that pilgrimage, that I came here for 3 weeks, and it ended up being 3 months.
Uh-huh.
I've been coming and going to the village. I've been living basically between Ananda village, Ananda Assisi in Italy,
Uh-huh.
and also in Spain.
Uh-huh.
So for years, maybe like 10, 12 years, I've been like just moving from place to place.
Uh-huh.
So I've been connected with the village since the beginning.
Since the beginning. But now you live there full time. When did you come to live
Yes.
full time?
So like 2 years ago.
2 years ago. And I know you met your husband there. Yes?
Yes.
Yeah.
We are about to celebrate this week actually our wedding anniversary, 2 years.
Oh, very good for you. So Arati, what are you doing there at the village? What kind of work do you do?
So right now I serve in the Spanish ministry with Baltimore and Gloria. And well, there is so much to do. There is not only translating things that are already there, like so many Swami talks or books or articles, also masters, but also creating an environment so students can come and learn the techniques, practice with us. We have like different levels of engagement. So for people that just want to learn how to meditate, or they just want to plug a little bit. For those that want more, they want maybe become meditation teachers. We have a meditation teacher training online in Spanish. And we not only give the teachings and the techniques, but we support them all the way. And also we have the Kriya Yoga path. So for those that want to receive Kriya and commit into their lives to master and the teachings and the practice of Kriya Yoga, we also give them the whole series and again support meditating with them and whatever they need.
So is it a full-time job for you from California to be speaking Spanish over the internet or writing Spanish or translating Spanish? So you live in America, but your whole work is really with the Spanish-speaking world?
Yes, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yes, with my husband Jan, we have been doing some classes either online or in person. We had a meditation group in town for some months, like little things like that. But yeah, I can say like right now my full-time job is with the Spanish ministry.
Does that feel like something that is really appropriate for you? I mean, do you feel a particular attunement with that world, or is it what is it that motivates you to do this kind of work? Why are you doing
it? I think so. I think it's right. It feels right. Because something that motivates me a lot is because I've been living out of the community for a long time. I will come here for a summer or 1, 3 months, but most of the time I will be somewhere else. And I miss so much satsang. I miss content that I can relate with and chanting. And so right now, offering that and creating the space for people that they cannot come to a place like this. They don't live in community. They maybe are the only one in their own family that meditates. So giving them the support, it's so beautiful. Like, hey, you are not by yourself. You are not alone. We are many and we are together, and you have the support in us. So that feels right.
That's beautiful. When you think of your future as a disciple, how would you like to grow? Who would you like to become? What is your ideal when you think about, here I am on the path of discipleship? Who can I be?
Oh, that's a big question.
It's a big question, yeah.
Right now, something that came a lot in my prayers is that actually I would like to disappear. I don't want to be in the middle, like because if I do things because I want or because I like, normally it doesn't go well. So I just want to disappear. But also I feel like I've been blessed with many gifts, and I want to offer them to Master. So if he wants to do anything with these gifts, I'm all his.
I understand that. All right, I'm going to ask you a funny question. Why did you want to be an astronaut? And do you feel that anything of what that caused you to want to be an astronaut is part of why you're on the spiritual path now? You understand? Yeah.
Oh yeah. Probably it has a lot to do. Meditating in the universe, it feels so much freedom and expansiveness and expansion. So I think maybe when I was little, I felt confined in this body or in this world, and the way to feel free was just to think about the stars and the universe and the galaxies, and again the whole science behind that. Not just about molecules or like the physical science that we know, but also the metaphysical, the consciousness. It feels so expansive, so right. So I didn't know when I was younger, but actually I understood many things about engineering because I was practicing yoga, like how a motor works, how the energy and the magnetism works. It's like, of course. But I understood that because of yoga. So right now, I don't miss being an astronaut. I don't care. But I felt like leaving this place just every time in meditation, just like going farther, like beyond all limits. So this is the stars that I was looking for. This is the I didn't want to travel anymore because I knew that the real trouble is in here.
Very good. So do you feel like you've reached what I mean? You feel like you travel in outer space now?
Oh, yes.
And the costume is much less cumbersome.
Yes, it's much easier. I can do it anytime from anywhere.
What do you see your involvement with Spanish-speaking devotees? Where do you see that going? Do you see more communities? Do you see yourself traveling? Where do you see yourself with all of that? What will Ananda become in the Spanish-speaking world? What do you think?
Ideally, and this is my wish, because I don't know if that will happen or not, but it would be very nice to see how people embrace the teachings by themselves and they themselves feel the necessity of creating meditation groups and eventually communities. the whole world is getting into trouble, and I don't know why the Spanish-speaking countries, they also struggle a lot with society, politics, and well, these things. But what we are seeing is a lot of people wanting more. They also they are not, they don't agree with the ways that things are going. So they want to do things in a different way. I can see the teachings helping them a lot, and of course, meditation groups and eventually communities. I don't know how I will be related with that, but if I can help in the process, that will be great.
All right, my dear. Thank you so much. I've really enjoyed hearing a little bit more of your story, and I'm delighted that you didn't become an astronaut.
Thank you.
I don't think I've ever talked to anyone who actually envisioned themselves in outer space. So it's
you know, Asha, I would like to say something, because this has to do with Swami Kriyananda, and he has been he's an angel, or even more. At some point, I was like doubting if I wanted to continue the studies or embracing the spiritual path. Having this meeting with Swami Kriyananda, he said, well, if you want material success, you will need engineering. If you want happiness, you don't need it.
Perfect.
So just with that gesture, it's like, okay, he never said, in all the talks that I had with him, he never said you should do this or that. He will suggest, but it was so clear.
Yeah.
So yes, I'm happy that I'm not an astronaut anymore. I embrace happiness.
I'm glad that Swamiji was there to guide you, my dear. Well, it's lovely to talk with you.
Thank you so much.
God bless you.